Thank you for watching the Field of 68. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here, hit that like button, share this link with your friends, or check out the description for some other places that you can consume Field of 68 content. All right, overreaction number 3. I made this argument to Goodman on the Saturday night show, and I'm going to pitch it to you guys too, and I want your take on it. I think that Kansas is a flawed basketball team when you look at them, right? I don't know if I trust McCullough or DeJuan Harris to necessarily be shooters. I think there are ways that you can guard them when Hunter Dickinson is the best shooter that you have on the floor. They definitely have not figured out what they're going to do at the 2 spot. They definitely have not figured out what they're going to do with their bench. It's like they have 4 studs and then 4 guys that should be like the 9th man on the team, and they don't have those like role players that can kind of hold everything together. And I just don't think that it matters, right? I'm at the point where we can sit here and say on paper, these are the issues that they have, but it hasn't impacted anything that they do at this point, right? DeJuan Harris hit a huge 3 at Indiana. Kevin McCullough hit a huge 3 at Indiana. Elmarco Jackson hit a huge 3 at Indiana. Jamari McDowell hit a huge 3 at Indiana. Kevin McCullough against UConn made 3 huge threes down the stretch. I think for all the flaws that you have there, you have the best coach in college basketball at figuring out those answers, and you got dudes that are just gamers that know how to win and that find a way to get it done when it matters. Like I understand all these question marks that you have with them. I'm saying fuck that, throw it all out the window, just ride with them. You got 4 dudes, you got Hunter Dickinson, you got Bill Self, you got the best point guard in the sport when it comes to being a leader. That's enough for me. They can win a national title. Doesn't mean they're going to, but they can absolutely do it.
In the last 2 years, when DeJuan Harris scores at least 7 points in a game, Kansas is 23-1. 23-1. So when he clicks, Kansas does not beat Kentucky if Harris isn't hitting shots. Now, he had an otherworldly night that night. I think we'd be talking about Kentucky in the top 5 if they had completed that game. But let's talk about Kansas. Bill Self said this at Assembly Hall before the game to CBS on Saturday. He said in his interview, the biggest thing with Hunter Dickinson is not just the leadership part and this chip on your shoulder where we don't mind being the hated. He said it's the fact that it's allowing KJ Adams and Kevin McCullough Jr. to play naturally. And that spoke to me, because to hear a coach say that and basically admit that they were out of place last year and then he would have liked to do things differently, that's why this team can win a national championship. Because Dickinson is the most offensive gifted player in the post, Self says this, that he's ever had. And Self's the best offensive technician in the game. And that game Saturday, how many of the 363 teams in the country would have lost at Assembly Hall on Saturday? I'd be willing to say 360. Kansas was one of the 3 that probably that could win, and they did. So as you go into your high-rise Bill Self retirement condo, as you change your Zoom background again to those again who are listening, who must be wondering, what drugs are we on? I can assure you we're not on anything. T.O. just keeps changing his Zoom background. The Kansas Jayhawks, they don't have play at the shooting guard. But if anybody can make it work, it's Self. And just think of what happens if Johnny Furphy or Nick Timberlake ever show a sign of a pulse.
As you guys know by now, we've partnered with BetMGM Sportsbook for this college basketball season. We're going to be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks and predictions throughout the college basketball season. And we are going to have special offers for you, the listeners and the viewers on the Field of 68 each and every week during the season. If you haven't signed up with BetMGM yet, use the bonus code FIELD1500 and you will get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager on BetMGM Sportsbook. Here's what you got to do. Download the BetMGM app. Sign up using the bonus code FIELD1500. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game. You will receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if that bet loses. Just make sure you use the bonus code FIELD1500 when you sign up. And remember, BetMGM is now available under one wallet in select states. As a New Jersey resident, this is super convenient for me when I have to go cover games in New York or Philly. When crossing state borders, just log into your existing account instead of having to create new accounts in each state that you go to. And most importantly, I got to let you know, we do have some fun stuff coming up for this college basketball season. Bet insurance tokens, college hoops odds boosts, my personal favorite, parlay odds boosts. So download the BetMGM app today.
Hey, here's a good thing about them, and I agree with everything you're saying. Here's a good thing about them is when you have DeJuan Harris, you have McCullough, you have Hunter Dickinson, and Dickinson is a bit of a lightning rod, but I'll just leave it at there. KJ Adams, another guy with experience. You're going to get constant production the whole game. And I made this comparison last night. It's kind of like when you play Kansas, it's like playing the Miami Heat. They're going to be the Miami Heat for 48 minutes. Well, when you play the Kansas Jayhawks, they're going to be Kansas for 40 minutes, and you have to beat them. They're not going to beat themselves, and they share the basketball. So even though there's not a ton of shooting on that team, they share the basketball better than anybody else in college hoops. They have an assist on 72.7% on all their made field goals are assisted by one teammate or another.
That's a stupid number, by the way. That's
a silly number. That's a silly number. It doesn't make sense, especially for that team. Who's the second place team is 4 percentage points lower, and it's Minnesota. So it doesn't necessarily correlate to winning, but what it does do is it tells you that your team's trying to share the ball. And whenever you have the type of talent that they have, at least at their 1, 2, 3, after that, there's question marks, but they're 1, 2, 3 with McCullough, Dickinson, and Harris, in my opinion, who's really, really good. It's like you're going to be able to figure out a lot on a given night with your consistent approach. That's my biggest thing with Kansas. I think they're that good because of that approach.
Yeah, and just for the record, for the people that are going to yell at T.O. here, when he says you're 1, 2, and 3, he means your number 1 option, number 2 option, number 3 option, not your point guard, shooting guard, and small forward. We know Hunter Dickinson is not a shooting guard. Okay.
Yeah. For clarification, for all you idiots,
we know he's not a shooting guard.
For all you idiots, for all those idiots that can't read between the lines. Option 1, option 2, option 3.
Hey guys, welcome to the Field of 68 YouTube channel. If you like what you see here, hit that subscribe button and you'll get more college basketball content just like this.